Hey everybody, it's Rob from Uncanny Gamers, and today I'm going to be making a review over Kid Icarus Uprising for the Nintendo 3DS. Now I know this review might be kind of late, but I don't care. I wanted some time to let my opinion sink in on the game before I went ahead and made a review on it. Now, some of you who don't know this already, you may be wondering why it comes in a thicker box. That's because the game comes with a Nintendo 3DS stand, where basically you can set it like this, your 3DS in there, and play the game on the stand like this. Now, I'm going to start right off the bat with the controls, because I know that's what a lot of people have been, a lot of people's complaints with the game. Now, I'm going to say right now that I had absolutely no problems with any of the controls whatsoever. I don't know why people are giving it, 7s and, very average or even below average scores just for its controls, because it really has no problem. Like, you can play it without the stand pretty much just fine. Not really in 3D like that, but you can play it without the stand fine. And if you play it with the stand, then that just totally takes away the problem completely. At least for me, I didn't have any problems with it, and I don't really like I don't really think the 3DS is that comfortable of a system. So that should go to show that the controls really aren't that bad at all. But however, I can see how some people might think that the controls are too bad and can't play the game or whatever. Then that's understandable, I guess. But now that we get past the controls, which is what everybody's always talking about this game, we're just going to get on to my opinions on the actual game, because, like I said, the controls, you may like them, you may not. I didn't have a problem with them, but overall I like the controls better than any other shooter I've played on DS or 3DS or anything like that. So, anyways, let's get into the game. Now, being that it's kind of like a more, I guess, kid-friendly Nintendo game, which I love Nintendo games. You wouldn't really expect it to have too big of a story at all, but I have to say, this is one of the best stories in really any Nintendo game, like, not like ever, but like, this game does have a really, really good story. It starts off kind of, straightforward. It doesn't really pick up or anything like that for a while, but once it picks up about halfway through, and it really starts getting good. And it has really funny writing, and the characters are all really cool. You want to find out more about the characters and everything like that. And it actually does have kind of a more intriguing story towards the second half of the game. The beginning is kind of just like funny writing and straightforward and everything like that. But one of the cool things about this game to me is it has references to other Nintendo games, and references to the old Kid Icarus games, which this is nothing like. Just let everybody know this is a new game, but it has references to the old Kid Icarus games. It has references to Donkey Kong, and even one to Metroid. Like, for example, there's these enemies in the game that looks like Metroids from Metroid, and finally at the end of the game, Pit is just like, hey, these things kind of look like Metroids, but he doesn't say the whole word, because then they say, but it's pretty cool. And it even knows, it's even one of those games that like makes fun of itself for being a video game, and it's just overall really good story, and really much more impressive than I thought it was going to be. So now that we got past the story, let's get on to the gameplay. Now the gameplay, for anybody who doesn't know, has two different styles. It has one in the air, where basically it plays out like an on-rail shooter, where you move the circle pad to move Pit, and you use your stylus on the touchscreen to move your reticle or your aiming thing, and then you press L to shoot. So you only use 3 main controls, and that plays out just fine. That really, I don't see how anybody would have problems with that. When it gets to the on-ground gameplay is where some people might have some problems. When you get to the on-ground gameplay, you have to basically move Pit with this on ground with the Circle Pad Pro, and then in order to aim, you aim around with the touchscreen, and you turn your camera with the touchscreen also. So that's where it can get kind of awkward. And L is to shoot. So you have to do all this while running around on ground, and it's a really fast-paced game, especially if you play in the higher difficulties. So you're not really going to be catching any breaks throughout the levels. But also, one kind of problem with the on-ground gameplay. Now, I don't really see how they could have done it any other way, because it would have been awkward trying to press any of the other buttons. But they decided to put your dash attack inside the Circle Pad Pro, and you do, like, especially when you're playing online and stuff, you might go into areas that you don't want to. But I didn't really have any problems with that, and I don't think many people should have too many problems with that. But that's basically how the on-ground gameplay works. Every level has about half, or one-third rather, in-air gameplay, which is really awesome. Amazing graphics, and this is a game that I'd recommend playing in 3D, and the game's got awesome music and awesome graphics and awesome 3D, and when you're playing in the sky, you can really notice that they put a lot of work into that. Then when you play on the ground, it almost plays kind of like maybe like a Zelda game with like it has like the melee. You can walk up to enemies and press L to melee them instead of just shooting them. And also there's like little puzzles in the level, so there's not just like one specific linear path that you have to go in like most kind of shooters like this, I guess. So it works pretty well in that way. And then the third part of the stage, which is not really a whole third, but is the boss. And now every stage has a boss. Sometimes stages have more than one boss. And let me tell you, the bosses in this game are epic. Like, just like, not maybe on such a scale, but like the God of War games, it has, you know, the Greek mythology style bosses, and they can be really fun to fight in this game, and every stage has them. And basically, just when you think the game has showed you all that it can show you with the epicness, the next chapter just comes back and improves on it even more, and it just keeps getting better and better. And basically that's basically how it works. It's just like the game has 25 chapters, so it's pretty. It took me about 8 hours to beat. And that was on about medium difficulty most of the time, about like 4 or 5 difficulty. You can change it all the way up to 9 if you want to, and that is really tough. Even the earlier stages are really tough. So about 8 hours on, I'd say, about normal difficulty, and that's a good length of game compared to other games that are coming out. I mean, it's not super long. It's not really like, it's about average, and but it doesn't really matter because the game is such, what's there is really good. Plus, it has the online features. And now basically, the online features, it has a free-for-all mode and a light versus dark mode. Now, free-for-all is just, you know, you can kill enemies and stuff like that. And then light versus dark is the really cool part to me. Now, basically, there'll be there's 2 characters in the game, by the way. I don't really want to spoil the story that much, but there's more than 2 characters, but there's Dark Pit and there's you know, regular Pit. And Pit likes to call Dark Pit Pitui because he's like a second Pit. It's kind of dumb, but anyways, in Light versus Dark, one team plays as the light team and one plays as the dark team, and basically you play as regular knights, and you'll have a health bar. Each team will have a health bar. Now your weapons, depending on how good they are, they have a certain value. Like say you have a good weapon and it has 240 value, and there's another weapon that has 115. Now your health bar may have like 1,000 HP or something like that. So say if you die and your weapon has 240 value, then your life bar goes down 240 points. So once your life bar goes down all the way, one person on your team turns into Pit or Dark Pit, depending on what team you are. And basically, whatever team kills Pit first or Dark Pit wins. And it can be really, really fun. Pit and Dark Pit are more fast, more powerful, and have more health than all the other characters and everything like that. And it's really fun. I put a couple hours into this mode. I only play about maybe like 4 hours of the online mode, but still I can tell that it really is a lot of fun. And I don't really have too many friends with the game right now, but I can tell that it would be even more fun if you had a lot of friends to play with. Now the online mode also uses a really impressive mode in the game, which is basically the weapons and the powers. Now you collect powers throughout the game, which can be like a jump or a firebomb or something like that, or a health recovery, and you can all assemble them and put in all these different powers attached to classes, just like in a shooter game. You know, you have custom classes or whatever, and you can set your weapon. And one of the coolest things to me about this game is, let's say you get a really good weapon with melee, but it doesn't have really good range, and you get a really good weapon with range, but it doesn't have good melee. Then you can go into the fuse weapons mode, and you can fuse weapons together to make different weapons, and there's just tons of weapons in the game. I wasn't expecting it to have as many weapons as it does. I don't know how many weapons it has, but it has like 7 different types. It has clubs, swords, you know, all sorts of different style of weapons. So it's definitely, even if you don't have online, the single player can be fun just going back and getting the weapons, and at least it was for me to do stuff like that. And yeah, that's a really cool feature. I thought the weapons were really awesome. Now, there's also a feature which I haven't had a chance to mess with yet, and that's basically the AR cards. And it's crazy because this is like the first game to actually do something with the AR cards, and the 3DS has been out for over a year now, but it comes with 6 AR cards or something like that, and you can place them on your table, and then you get your 3DS and you go into the AR section, and Pit or somebody or the character that you have will actually pop out of the card, and they can fight each other if you put them in front of each other. And it sounds pretty cool. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's just like a novelty, like, oh, it's cool to look at, but then it's not really. You know, you get over it pretty quickly or whatever. But other than that, there's tons of cards you can. I'm pretty sure that there's like they got a lot of cards that you can collect. I only have the 6 main cards that they give with you, but yeah, I haven't had a chance to play with that feature yet. But overall, I don't want to like spoil too much about the story or anything. But I have to say that I can safely, or I'm safely going to recommend this system now, along with this game. I think that Mario Kart 7 and Super Mario 3D Land and all that were really good, but now that this game is out, I would definitely recommend the 3DS to anybody who hasn't gotten one yet. And if you have a 3DS and you don't own this game, there's really no reason of you owning a 3DS besides, I don't know what you would even be playing on it really, because this is by far the best game I think you can pick up on the system right now, besides maybe Ocarina of Time 3D, but that's a remake, so. But this is by far the best original 3DS game in my opinion, and everybody who owns a 3DS should definitely buy this game, and I would actually say that this could be a system seller. So if you see a 3DS for $150 or something, and you wanted to get one and you weren't sure about it yet, definitely pick one up and pick this game up, because this game totally deserves the sales. I want to see more Kid Icarus games. I don't want, after they finish working on the new Super Smash Bros. Game, hopefully they'll make one for the Wii U or something like that. But I would love to see more Kid Icarus games in the future. And honestly, this is one of my favorite, not just my favorite 3DS game, but this is one of my favorite handheld games ever made, to be honest with you. I was totally blown away by it. I wasn't expecting much at all. Not that I wasn't expecting much, I just wasn't excited like some people were. I got it about a week late, and I kind of just got it because, whatever, it was the only game that I really wanted to get at the time. But I was blown away by it. It was just, I was expecting the controls to be kind of wonky, but they weren't. Everything worked really well, and I totally recommend this game to everybody. Alright guys, thanks for watching.